The night my father collapsed in our driveway, I was 3 states away closing the biggest deal of my career. My name is Violet, and I thought I had everything figured out. 29 years old, senior software architect at a Fortune 500 company, about to sign a contract that would set me up for life. Then my phone rang at 11:47 p.m. "Violet, you need to come home. Now." My mother's voice was shaking, something I'd never heard before. "Your father. He just collapsed. The paramedics are here." I caught the first flight out of Seattle. 6 hours later, I was standing in a sterile hospital corridor, watching my once invincible father hooked up to machines that beeped and hummed like a broken symphony. "Heart attack," the doctor explained. "Massive. He's stable, but there's significant damage. He'll need extensive care, possibly for months, maybe longer." My mother sat beside his bed, looking smaller than I remembered. At 58, she'd always been the picture of composure, the woman who ran PTA meetings and organized neighborhood barbecues with military precision. Now she looked lost. "I don't know what we're going to do," she whispered. "The insurance? It won't cover everything. And I can't take care of him alone." That's when I made the decision that would destroy my life. "I'll handle it," I said. Within 2 weeks, I'd quit my job. My boss tried to talk me out of it. "Violet, you're throwing away a 6-figure salary and stock options that'll be worth millions. Can't you hire someone?" I could have, should have. But my parents had sacrificed everything to put me through college, worked double shifts to pay for my computer science degree. This was my chance to pay them back. I liquidated my 401k, cashed out my savings, sold my condo in Seattle, $400,000. Every penny I'd saved over 7 years of grinding 16-hour days and living off ramen noodles. I moved back into my childhood bedroom, the one with faded purple walls and a twin bed that made my back ache. Every morning I drove my father to physical therapy. Every afternoon I helped him with exercises the therapist prescribed. Every evening I cooked dinner, managed his medications, and helped him shower because his left side still wouldn't cooperate. My mother developed anxiety attacks from the stress. I drove her to therapy appointments too, held her hand while she cried about almost losing the love of her life. I became their chauffeur, their nurse, their emotional support system. "Where's Samantha?" I asked one day, about 3 months in. My younger sister lived in Chicago, working some marketing job she was always posting about on Instagram. "She's busy with her career," my mother said, not meeting my eyes. You know how demanding her job is. I knew. I saw the posts. Samantha at rooftop bars, Samantha at company retreats, Samantha living her best life while I measured out heart medications and helped my father remember how to tie his shoes. She visited twice in 18 months. Twice. Both times for less than a weekend. Both times complaining about how depressing it was to see Dad like that. "I just can't handle seeing him so weak," she told me during her second visit, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. "It's too hard for me." I wanted to scream. Instead, I handed her tissues and told her it was okay, that I understood. The worst part wasn't the money or the career I'd torched, or even the isolation. It was watching my parents slowly get better and realizing they'd stopped seeing me as their daughter. I'd become the help. Efficient, reliable, invisible. When my father could finally walk without assistance, when my mother's panic attacks subsided, when they no longer needed me to survive, something shifted. The grateful smiles became polite nods. The thank yous stopped coming. They started making plans without including me, talking about their future like I wasn't sitting right there. "We're thinking about taking that cruise we always wanted," my mother mentioned one evening over dinner. "Now that your father's feeling stronger." "That sounds wonderful," I said. "When were you thinking?" "Oh, probably next month. We've already booked it." Next month. They'd booked a cruise without telling me, the daughter who'd spent 18 months keeping them alive. That night, I lay in my childhood bed and stared at the ceiling, doing math in my head. $400,000. 18 months of my life. A career that would take years to rebuild, if I could rebuild it at all. The next morning, I found them in the kitchen, whispering over coffee. They stopped talking when I walked in. "What's going on?" I asked. "Nothing, sweetheart," my mother said, but she was hiding something behind her back. It was a real estate document. I caught a glimpse before she shoved it into a drawer. That evening, I checked Samantha's Instagram while my parents were at their book club. The post was from 3 hours ago, a photo of a house key dangling from a pink keychain, with the caption that would change everything. "Officially a homeowner. Thanks, Mom and Dad." The house in the photo was the one I was sitting in, the house I'd grown up in, the house I'd sacrificed everything to save. My parents had given it to my sister, the sister who'd visited twice in 18 months, the sister who couldn't handle seeing our father weak. I screenshot the post and sat there staring at it until my hands stopped shaking. Then I started planning. I waited 3 days before confronting them. 3 days of pretending I hadn't seen Samantha's post, of making their breakfast and driving them to appointments while rage burned in my chest like acid. On Thursday morning, I set my laptop on the kitchen table and turned the screen toward them. "Want to explain this?" My mother's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. My father's newspaper crinkled as his hands tightened around it. "Violet, we can explain.